means you are growing a business. If you have a McDonald's business and it's just you have to be there at the drive-thru. You have to make the fries. You have to make the burgers. You've got to clean the toilets. You've got to sweep the floors. You cannot have a business without people. What? People. What? People. Those with 5 or more, come on down. Whoop, whoop. Woo! Hold on, come on, Belda. Come on, Belda. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop, whoop. All right. Those that got a promotion, how many people like money? Repeat after me. Show me the money. The higher contract you get, the more money you get. Who got a promotion in the last 7 days? Come on down. Senior rep, district, division, regional. All right, that's awesome. Give them a big hand. Okay, who got paid in the last 7 days? Oh, the whole room. Awesome. Money, money, money. Whoop, whoop. Look at the money. Woo! Well, how do we make money here? Write a policy. So who helped a family make sure that, God forbid, something was to happen to their loved one, they don't have to go to GoFundMe. So we're on a mission to take out GoFundMe, right? And so who helped with our mission to take out GoFundMe and wrote a life insurance policy? Come on down. Woo! All right. That's exciting. That's exciting. We're going after you, GoFundMe, right? We're taking them out. So who is innately lazy? Don't lie. Okay, let me ask it another way. Who likes to make money and do nothing? Oh, look at all the lazy people! So who went out and became a dream saver and recruited somebody in the last 7 days?
The batteries died.
All right. Who? Hey guys. Who is on track for Bal Harbour? Whoop, whoop.
All right. So I want Gigi to explain what happens when you go on these fabulous vacations with everything paid for, and then you know have a little bit of drinks in your system, and then the blue light special comes, right? Woo! So do you learn a lot from a person?
You sure do learn a lot from a person. All I can say is do not miss a trip, because that's your chance to build relationships. And it's also what happens there stays there.
Even in Winston-Salem, right? So anyways, moving on.
All right. The top 10 future RVPs. Number 10, Kim Mo. Number 9, Yuri Chavez. Number 8, Steve Williams. Number 7, Greg Blue. Number 6, Melanie Wilkinson. Number 5, Deborah Dooley. Number 4, Sandra Kennedy. Number 3, Sarah Black. Number 2, Evelyn Carrillo. And there's only I can't hear you. Yeah, Keisha Thomas. All right, and our top RVP studs in the house. Number 10, Robbie and Katie Hall. Number 9, Evelyn Tejada. Number 8, Vincent Marla Lane. Number 7, Ron and Timmy Lewis. Number 6, Andy Young. Number 5, the awesome happy birthday to Mary Hayes. Number 4, the amazing Bill Del Rubio. Number 3, Wes and Shay. Number 2, Terry and Tim Sheridan. But there's only what? What? Crazy Cookie Kowalski! Woo!
All right, guys. You know how this happens is by going to big events, because decisions are made in big events. Let me tell you about a decision that was made just recently in Super Saturday. So I got a daughter and she does real estate. Last Super Saturday. What did he say? I got you. I know which one your car is. So, huh? Oh, we know your address. Hey, so Maria goes to Super Saturday and she heard something there that just fired her. I need to with real estate. So I'm switching it up. Since she went over there, she's gotten two RVPs, right? Woo! Hey, we're just speaking into existence, right? So she's gotten 2 recruits personal, and she has 10 scheduled appointments. I mean, she's like, Mom, I'm going after it. I'm gonna break records. What? And so you have to get people to the big events. You have to get people to the big events. So I want everybody that has 10 or more that are already going to Winston-Salem to keep standing. Everybody else sit down. Okay, Wes, why is it so important for you to have 10 plus people?
Have you seen his wife?
Wow. I remember sitting down with my coach and I said, what does it take to get big? Was doing nothing in the business. She told me bring 10 to the event. We was 2 months left, 1 month left for a trip like Baha Mar. We was not on track. We went to the big event. It was October 31st. And then we came back in November. We double digited for the first time. And we did the most production we ever did. And we won that trip after not even being on track. So the only thing that changed was really the people coming. And the 10th person that came is the person that's about to sign their RVP contract in the next 90 days. So that was number 10. So that's why it's so important to get 10 at a big event.
So, Shay, what does it mean to be able to have a man that makes money?
It's everything.
I would say so. So, Ron and Tammy, I'm gonna get to you, but Gigi, what does it mean to you to have 10 plus people?
Well, the big events is where big decisions are made, but that creates momentum coming out. That your numbers, I mean, every big event that I go to, every time I take somebody new, we come out and we double digit recruit.
Hey, but guess what? Do I have to be like an RVP to bring 10?
No, not absolutely.
What do you mean? I could be just like signing my IBA today and I could bring 10? How do I do that?
Go out and get all your friends and family and coworkers and put them on a bus and bring them to Winston-Salem.
Wait. What if I don't have a bus?
Put them in your car.
Find a way to get them there. Even if you have to Uber, you get them there, right? So, Tammy.
Whatever it takes, you get them there.
That's right. Uber, they charge from South Carolina to Winston-Salem $287. So, hey, that's just letting you know.
That's what's up. That's good to know. Right. So I'm gonna let Ron talk because this is about getting people in front of more people.
Absolutely. So the reason you get more people to Winston-Salem is the 80-20 rule. You got to have more people there so you can have more people having the opportunity to make the decision to do something big. But they might not hear from you as kind of the associate pastor approach. You may be saying it, but they might hear from somebody on stage that says it a different way and they make a decision. And that's why you need to fight to get as many people there as possible.
All right. So, hey, I'm going to get to you right now because you look like you were really excited to take that mic. Did you guys see that? He was like, give me the mic. I got so much to say. So give me 1 minute. I just want to get Darla because Darla, I want to congratulate and thank Darla because she just passed her SIE exam. So hold on. This lady organizes everything for Andy, right? But she still has time to go ahead and study and pass that test. So that's a big applause for her. But not only that, I want her to tell us what it means because she's been in the business, not in the business at Primerican as far as an agent goes, but she's been around the most around Art Williams. So tell us a little bit about what this means, why it's so important for people to take more people with them.
This is how we build our business, event to event. Art did it. Andy's doing it exactly like Art did in the 80s, and it's no joke. There's no other way. Let the event do the work for you.
There you go. No more words. So I'm gonna let this gentleman right here because he looks so excited, and he wanted to take the mic. So here, it's all yours, buddy.
SNSD Factory! SNSD Factory! Freedom and leverage. That's the reason why that we actually have to bring people. You cannot actually do the business by yourself.
Hey, drop the mic. All right. Well, thank you so much. Do you want to add anything, J10?
We have got an amazing, you guys can have a seat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations.
But we need more people to stand up. Congratulations to, well, hold on. It seemed like only the front row. Did you guys see that? There's a pattern here. Only the front row really stood up. I mean, front row is always the best row. So what happens when you don't have 10 or more? Then next month, it's September, October, you want to make sure you have those 10 or more in September because then you're going to be up here and you're going to be, once you're up here, are these people making more money than the people back there? It all boils down to making this business work for you. And the only way you could do that is bringing people to the big event, because just like, a lot of the leaders here have said, one thing could trigger someone just to go freaking explode. And you're just one recruit from what? From what? Exactly, from an explosion. So we're one person. So the person that you didn't go talk to, it's probably the person that you needed to talk to make sure you exploded, right? And so go ahead and take it from here, J10.
Okay, so we have the amazing, incredible, the next person coming up, her and her husband. How many people would pick up and leave your home and move to another state to go win? Leave everything that is familiar, go into a city where you know no one so you can get coached and mentored. So these people left to Florida, came warm, beautiful Florida all year long, to come to Atlanta, right? That's really cold for the rest of you not going to Baha Mar in the winter, right? So she could get mentored in this environment. So they could make $1 million a year to take care of their families. So with that, get on your feet for the amazing Shay Fornard!
Thank you. Woo! How you guys doing? How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Are you guys fired up? When I say are you fired up? Say I'm fired up. Are you guys fired up? Are you fired up? Oh, I'm so fired up, you guys. I just came back from Fort Lauderdale, my hometown, and it was so exciting. We had a super Thursday, in middle of the week, and crazy. The hierarchy still had like 500 people there on a Thursday night, right? It's crazy. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about myself, and then I'm gonna show you guys a video, because the great thing about this business, people inspire you, but then you get to inspire others, right? So you come in and you're like, oh wow, this is crazy. But then one day that's you, because everybody's always looking at you, even though you think nobody's looking at you, people are looking at you, right? So a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Right? Who's from Brooklyn? What? So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I come from a pretty big family. It's 5 kids, and we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn. If you know anything about New York, apartments are really small, right? So you could just imagine I never got the remote control. I had to watch wrestling most of my life. And growing up, I didn't think nothing of it. I thought that's what everybody had. My dad is a taxi driver, so he worked every day. He was out the house by like 6 o'clock in the morning, and he didn't come home until about midnight. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom because she had to deal with 5 kids, right? All the range were like 13 years, from youngest to oldest apart. And I thought that was normal until one day I went to my friend's house when I was in elementary school, and she had her own bed, you guys. I didn't have my own bed until I was like 13 years old. So I went in there and I was like, oh my God, you got your own bed. Nobody's kicking you in the rib. You're not playing tug of war with the sheets. Like, oh my God. And then she was like, yeah, my mom's a nurse. She went to college. So right away, my head was like, oh, I need to go to college, right? Anybody felt like that? They had to go to college to make more money. So I was like, all right, I'm going to make college. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. So I did go to college, and, I was one of those people. I can't say I'm the most money motivated person, right? But I always wanted to make a difference in people's lives. Anybody feels like that? All right. So I was like, you know what? I want to go to become a teacher. And I went to elementary education. And my plans were, the best thing about teaching is like, you get every weekend off, right? Get the holidays off, and you get the summer off. I was sold. Like, what other career get all those days off? So my plan was, every summer I'm gonna go out there and travel the world. Anybody here want to travel the world? What's some places you guys want to go? Anybody? Aruba, Greece. Oh, who said that? Yes. Who else? Italy. Where? Croatia. Really? Paris, right? So pretty much what everybody mentioned, I was ready to, like, every summer I'm gonna travel the world. So I started teaching 2nd grade and 3rd grade. I loved it. as far as being in the classroom, right? And my first summer came around, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go travel. And I looked at the flights to Hawaii, and I was like, that's not happening. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to do it better and save every month, so I could, go on a vacation. And then, funny enough, I started saving and saving, and it seemed like every time I saved anything, something would come up. Anybody feel like that? That happens to you? So something would come up. So every summer, I couldn't go on any vacation. So I guess in life, you just get used to it and you think that's it. So I really gave up on that goal and that dream of traveling because nobody I knew was traveling, right? So I was like, well, at least I could pay my bills. Anybody ever felt like that? Well, I should be grateful because a lot of my college friends, they didn't get a job in their degrees. So I was like, at least I got a job in my degree. And so I remember driving one day, I'm right out of college and I still partied and I was going to a party actually. And I got hit. Somebody hit me in the back of my car and they totaled the vehicle. Long story short, I owed the bank $2,000. So I didn't have gap insurance and no car. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't have $2,000. So what would any young adult do in that situation? Anybody? Call my parents. So I call my parents and I go, Dad, can I get $2,000 to pay this car off? Because I can't get a new car until I pay off that $2,000. And he's like, I don't have it, baby. And I'm like, okay. My mom don't work, so I know she didn't have it, right? So I call my aunt. I'm like, can I borrow 2,000? She's like, I don't have it. And I call my brother, my older brother. He's like, I don't have it. Call some cousins. Nobody had it. The crazy thing is, I expected for me not to have it. I'm like, I'm just starting off my life. But they had been working for 20, 30, 40 plus years and they didn't have $2,000. So it didn't click to me. Like, and that's when I was like, wait, something is wrong. And I was really upset at that point because I was like, you know what? I didn't even want to go to college, but you guys told me to go to college. I did the right things. I did everything right that everybody told me to do. And here I am, I'm still stuck. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, man, I have to do something else. Now, I didn't want to go back to school. Anybody here don't like school that much? So I automatically knew that wasn't an option for me. I was not going back to school to save my life. Like, I was just not going back, right? So I was looking for something else, but I didn't know what else I could do. And you guys ever pray about something and you ask God for one thing and then he give it to you in a different form than you ever thought? Well, I prayed to God. I was like, God, I need something. And sure enough, like a week later, I met the guy at my sister's house. I went to vent to her about the situation because I like the whole world lied to me. And, so I went to vent to her about it, and I was letting her know the world's lying to you too. And sure enough, somebody, a Primerica agent, was at her house who had did the policy. She didn't refer me because I didn't have any kids or anything like that. And so while I'm there, he just did a pop up. Like he had no reason to be there. So I really believe like God made that happen. And I just happened to go there because I was mad. And I usually don't go over to her house like that. And so we met and he's like, hey, you keeping your option of making extra money? And I'm like, yes, for sure. And he was like, why don't you come to the office? So I came in, something like this. And initially I looked at everything and I was like, I can't do that. Anybody ever felt like that? I can't. These people are good. I'm like, I do second grade math. Like, I can't. Did have the mentality was, why not? I was like, why not? What can I lose? I already knew what I was going through. I knew what other teachers were going through. I knew what my friends were going through. So I really was like, why not? Let's give it a shot. So I put in my IBA thinking like I just need extra money. But what I found out was that this business gave me more than money. It gave me hope again. It allowed me to dream again because I had stopped dreaming. Anybody here stop dreaming? Right? Allow me to dream again. It let me know there was a way. So that's why it says dream big, right? And because I just had faith, I was like, let me just see what happens. So of course I was in the business for about 2 years, and then I got married to Wes, and then we moved here to be around Andy Young and this environment because Wes always said if he could get any mentorship from anybody because was the first millionaire he ever met. And Andy constantly pour into us all the time, and everybody, regardless if you're in his hierarchy or not. But one thing I do, as I knew I didn't know nothing. So one thing you have to know, I knew I didn't know anything about the business, because if I did, then I would be further ahead. So we had to submit to the leadership, and part of submitting is duplicate. So I always see Andy pour into his people. So as soon as we saw that, me and Wes, we were like, we want to do the same thing for our team. So even though we don't make a million yet, because we're gonna make $1 billion, because Chris always says, the biggest hierarchy hasn't been built yet, and I believe that, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build that, right? So that means we're gonna be billions, right? With a B, you guys. Are you excited about that? Right? So we just, have faith, and you have to get started. So we just get it started, and we started to pour into our team. So we had an incentive with our team. It was, and we took them out to Marco Island. So I have some pictures for you guys. So let's see here. Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right. So this is the hotel we went to. It's the JW Marriott in Marco Island. And the crazy thing is, our team in Fort Lauderdale is only about an hour and 45 minutes away, right? And literally, some people was like, I didn't even know there's a Marco Island existed, right? Just to know, like, even though you may not be, Andy Young, you can still stretch other people's vision, right? So we went there, which was suggested by Andy Young, right? And they were just like, wowed, like, oh my God, like this exists, right? You can go to the next picture. So this was the pool at night. Some people here, they're playing right there on the side. And one of the couples that won, they brought their kids with them. And the daughter was just like, okay, I'm going to this trip. I'm going to she was like, I'm going to Colorado, Keystone, Colorado. And her mom is like, you can't go to Keystone, Colorado. It's adults only. And she's like, no, I'm going everywhere. And her son is 8 years old, and he's like, I'm gonna put in my IBA. And I'm like, okay, you got a whole other couple more years to go there, buddy. But it was a stretching their vision. You could go to the next picture. And this is us. So, I've never been in the Gulf of Mexico before. I'm always, on the other side, but the water felt great. It was a great way to relax and show them things. And they had a fire show, for free. You could just be right there on the beach. And then the next picture. Oh my God, you guys. So guess who happened to be there? Right? So Andy and Mary happened to be there. So they had lunch with us. So we had our top winners have lunch with them. So that's Aaron and Keisha. Keisha is what you see her name up here sometime, right? Number one. And it's funny, Aaron, he goes, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. So we see Andy every weekend. We're like, oh, it's Andy. And he's like, oh my God, this was a once in, like, he was nervous, he was shaking, he didn't know what to say. And then Keisha is like, he's my friend now. Like, we had one conversation, we're best friends now. But the reason why I put OMG is like, where else can you go and meet millionaires who's just as humble as the next person, who's willing to pour into you? Because I know for me, I always thought rich people are snobby or rude or mean, but then he just shows you that you don't have to be that. You don't have to associate money with a negative thing. If anything, you can associate it with a positive thing. And one of the RVPs mentioned in South Florida, he was like, well, RVP, Andy shows him, because we went out to Waffle House, and he tipped everybody in the store before ordering. Everybody in the store. He was like, how many people's working, and tips everybody, right? And he was like, well, I used to want to make money for myself, but now I want to make money so whenever anybody interact with me, their lives are better, right? But that's the type of person you get to be around. And Mary was there, and Mary's tough, but sometimes you need that, right? That's sometimes if you're not tough, you ain't moving, right? So really big OMG. But this business is OMG. Like, this is a gift, I believe, a gift for anybody who decides to take it. So I have a quick video right on the next page, and you guys could check it out.
tell you something that every successful person has, including you. Believe it or not, every successful person in this world has jumped. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. Eventually, you are going to have to jump. You cannot in this life. You've got to try to live. If you're waking up thinking that it's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. Believe in your heart of hearts that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump. I'll tell you why I call it jump. See, God, when he created all of us, gave every last one of us a gift. He never created a soul without endowing them with a gift. You just got to quit looking at gifts as running, jumping, sing, and dance. It's more than that. It's if you know how to network, you can connect dots, draw, teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else. Bake pie. Some people cut hair. How about that? Some people do grass. I got a partner, man. Never wanted to go out with us, but stayed out too late. Come on, man, go out now. I got to get up early tomorrow. Cutting this Johnson. I kept laughing at this. Cutting grass. How much they pay? He got a landscape company in Cleveland worth $4 million. Because all he do is cut grass. But he was gifted at it. I got a partner on a detail shop, made $800,000 a year detailing cars. He got 6 mobile trucks with him now. $800,000 a year. All he do is detail cars. That's his gift. That's what he loves to do. You've got to identify that gift. Now listen to me. When you see people in life, when you're standing on the cliff of life, you see people soaring by, you see people soaring, going to exotic places, you hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year, every 2 years. How is he doing that? Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? Because your Bible says, it's your Bible, says your gift will make room for you. Your gift, not your education. You go get an education, that's not. But if you don't use your gift, that education only gonna take you so far. I know a lot of people got degrees, man, that they ain't even used. It's your gift. But the only way for you to soar is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord. That gift opens up and provides the soar. If you don't ever use it, you're going to just go to work. And if you get up going to work on a job every day that you hate going to, that ain't living, man. You just existed. At one point in time, you don't see what living's like. But the only way to see what living like, you got to jump and hit a problem. Just be real. When you first jump, let me tell you something. The parachute will not open right away. Sorry. I wish I could tell you it, but it don't. When you jump, it's not going to open right away. You're going to hit the rocks. You're going to get some skin tore off on the cliffs. You're going to get all your clothes tore off. You're going to get some cuts on you. You're going to be bleeding pretty bad. But eventually, the parachute has to open. That is a promise of God. That ain't a theory. That's a promise. His promises is true. Because listen, not gotten you. If he hadn't got you through it, you wouldn't even be here. So if he ain't never not got you through it, why would he not let your parachute open? It has to open, man. But you got to jump, though. Now, here's another thing. You can play it safe and deal without the cuts and the tags. You can stand on that cliff of life forever safe. You don't jump. I got another promise I can make. The parachute will never open. You'll never know. You'll never know what God really has. See, your God has a wonderful life. Once again, I'm going to refer to your Bible. Go down there, you memorize these scriptures, you don't apply them to yourself. Your Bible life. Give you life more abundantly. If I were you, I would jump. Because that's the only way to get to that abundant life. You got to jump, man. You got to take a chance. Now, when I get through talking, there are those of you who discuss this in the car. Well, I got bills. And I got bills. Whether you stay on the cliff or you jump, you're going to have bills. Well, if I quit my job, I'm going to ruin my credit. If you got a job, you got A1 credit. You can't buy nothing else no damn way. Go see what God really do. God hold you up, man. He ain't going to let you fall. He ain't bring you this far to let you fall. Do yourself a favor, man. Before you leave this world, before you die, jump. Just jump one time. Just jump.
All right. Woo! That's it. All right, you guys go out here and jump, and we're going to have Miss Terry Sheridan.
Hi, guys. Everybody excited? Me too. All right. I didn't know we had so much in common in our story, Shay. So that's pretty neat. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Terry Sheridan, and I have a very similar story to Shay's. I'm a teacher. Okay. So I did that, go to school, get the degree, come home, and my husband, who lived from a backward county, his family was all like, yeah, I married a college graduate. Now he gets to tell them, yeah, I paid off her student loans and she never worked. So it's a totally different story. So anyway, I did buy into that market. Okay. Came from a very wealthy family. Didn't always value money because I had a lot of it. All right. There was a different story. Same thing, but opposite. So I wanted to do something that made a difference. Anybody in here to make a difference? All right. Y'all remember these hands because I'm going to ask them something in a minute. So anyway, I wanted to make a difference. So I went to school, got my early childhood degree. And then my last quarter, we got married. And on our honeymoon, we got a present. Anybody know what that could have been? So Carrie Lee came along. And when that happened, we had a very serious discussion. And I was like, okay, I don't want you to work. I want you to raise the kids. And I was like, kids? So needless to say, that's what I did. I stayed home for 10 years. Now, when I went back into the workforce, it wasn't for money. It was everything had changed. My husband owned a body shop. We needed health insurance. So it was time for me to go back to get that product, right? Anybody know about doing anything you can to get that? So I went back in and got in the school system. And holy Toledo. Anybody raising teenagers? And it's like one day they come home and an alien took over them and you don't know who they are. Okay, that was the school system for me. I got in that building and I was like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, all of a sudden there was no discipline. And I'm telling you, the parents were worse than the kids. And anybody that knows me knows I'm very opinionated. So that was not working well for me. So my very last day at a public school, a parent came in. She came to my door. I'm sitting there. And she slings open that door and words that my husband would get shot if he said to me. Because he would go to sleep, right? Well, she was letting me have it. The F-bomb here, all kind of stuff. And I was like, I went like this. I put my hands together. And I was just going, So any of you that have virgin ears, you might want to plug your ears for a minute. Because when that lady said to me, after I asked her, did you help your child study? Because she was mad at me because her kid failed the test. I said, you help your child study? She said, no, ma'am, that's your job. I looked and I thought, God, I can't do it. Here we go. So I said, no, ma'am, that baby came out of your vajayjay, not mine. That's your job. And so I just pranced myself with her like a little chihuahua behind me, straight to the principal's office. got in, I'm serious, that happened. Got in there, opened her door, because you don't just do that in the school system, but I did. I opened the door. I said, she's yours. I quit. Out the door I went. Never went back. Yeah, no, it's so, now it's so funny because there's a student of mine in here tonight. So, well, yeah, so that's how old I am too. So that is so, right? Yeah. So anyway, that happened at Colbert Elementary. So I walked out the door, told my husband when I got home, I said, buddy, I don't care what you got to do, but we can get health insurance that way. So needless to say, he said, but honey, you got to do it. I make the money. So I drove a school bus for 15 years. Met a lot of kids that way too. My difference was made. I was the first one to greet them every day, tell them bye, all that good stuff. Long story short, I stayed home when my youngest hit 10th grade. They no longer needed me anymore, right? They think. But I was bored. So I can sew and create, and naturally thought, okay, I'll open a boutique. My husband owns a business. Why not me? So I opened a store, bought a commercial embroidery machine, spent $50,000 buying stock, and thought, okay, this is going to be the fun life. Well, that lasted all about 3 months. Real quick, I went to the wrong part of the workflow quadrant because I was self-employed. If I was not in that building, I didn't make a dime. Well, I'm telling you, I went from total freedom for the last forever to something owning me. I stuck it out for 3 years. I did really good, but I was miserable. Sylvia's not in here, is she? She just called me with a store owner the other week, and I talked him into signing his IBA real fast because it's not all it's cracked up to be, guys. So I gave my husband a heart attack, told him I was coming in full time, sold the store, joined Primerica February 2015, closed the doors on my store July 1st, like walked away. Okay, never looked back. So back to the question I asked. Some of you said you were here to make a difference, right? Those of you that said that, stay on your seat. Those of you that are here to make money, stand up. Come on, we got to have some real people in the room. Who came to make money? All right. Now wait a minute. Okay, nope. Most of us came here with one mission. We thought we want to do something good, or we said, I'm here to make money. All right, so now we're going to switch, and you pay attention to who's beside you. So if you're still sitting, you stand up. If you're standing up, sit down, because we're going to get funny now. We're going to act like Andy Young. So all you people that came here just to make a difference and do good things, do you have jobs? Yes. Okay, so what I want you to do is Friday. You get paid on Fridays? Yeah, I want you to take your paycheck, and I want you to hand it back to your boss. I don't do this for the money. You can have it. Go back. I do the government for the money. Yeah, they got it. Okay. Well, do you get my point, guys? We came here for money. We're not, okay, you can sit down. Yes.
So for us, okay, so yeah, we came here to make money, but the difference, my why has definitely changed. Because I have a nonprofit, but it only can be funded by my Primerica money. And so when I heard Bobby Buisson talk about his foundation that he funds with his Primerica money, so that's why I stood and said I want to make a difference.
Right. Okay, and that's great. And don't get me wrong, because when I tell you my story, about how they got me, because when the guy came looking for me that recruited me for 7 months. 7. Right, Robbie? I stood Robbie up a lot. James, I would see his police car coming in the parking lot of my store, and I'd go running, and I'd hide, tell him I'm not here. And I'd hide till he's gone. Yeah, I got busted by him because you know what happened? He comes in my office, my store, and he says to my daughter, who ran my embroidery machine, he starts telling her, well, I had told him that something happened to my bus. And Carrie calls me and says, Mom, you need to talk to this guy. You'll be really good at this. I was like, Carrie. So she totally blew me out of the water. So it was over. So I had to listen. Okay. So I listened and I loved what I heard. Okay. I knew I would be good at it. But the thing that busted me wide open was the fact that I owned life insurance. A lot of it. Remember, I stayed home. My husband made good money. When we sat down and I figured out how much money Snake Farm had stolen from me and my husband, I was pissed off. And I said to myself, all right, I'm from a wealthy family. I'm a college graduate and a teacher at that. And if I don't know this crap and I got ripped off, everybody I know is getting ripped off too. So that started my crusade. I was done letting people get ripped off. When God gave me the ability to teach, I just wasn't doing it his way. I was doing it my way, and that's why it didn't work. Because the minute I hit these doors, I knew where I was supposed to be. So those of you that are here for a mission, I want you to listen to some stories, and I'm going to teach y'all some facts about life insurance for those of you that are here to make money. But here's some important stories, and I'm going to try to do this without crying tonight. So the first thing happened to me, my second, going on year and a half. Amanda, I had, told you I sewed and I created things. We did custom stuff. So I made her bridal gowns for her wedding. All her bridesmaids' dresses, all that stuff. Made it all. So when I switched to this, naturally, my clients were my first clients here, right? My customers. So I called Amanda. Amanda was a part-time photographer. Her new husband, Stacy, drove a truck for Pepsi. They had a little boy, baby. So I said to her, I need to do an appointment with you. Of course, she didn't know what about, because if you've been trained, you know not to tell them what about. Because she would have said, well, I got 30,000 with Pepsi, I'm good. But I didn't tell her that. I said, I've started a new business and I need your help. Well, I had helped her, so she better have helped me. So she did, but it took about 6 months to get the appointment to go through. So guys, remember, they're not always avoiding you. She was a photographer. Crap would happen for her. Things happened. It just took us about 6 months to get together. Now, over this 6 months, her son that she had before this marriage started middle school. Stacy started teaching. He was a coach for the football team, middle school. I have a grandson that was in middle school. So Stacy got to be best friends with my son-in-law. And he was my grandson's football coach. And this was 11 months after I wrote this policy, guys. 11 months. Now, also, don't think that because parents know something, they taught their kids. Because when I wrote Amanda's policy, of course, I recruited her. First appointment we go to is her parents. They had a Milico policy. Anybody know what Milico is? Well, I didn't know then, but I know now. Old folder, everything. I was like, oh my God, this is like gold. Can I have it? He wouldn't give it to me. But it was cool. But how ignorant was he? Because here was his situation. House paid for. Life insurance was almost timed out. He had over $300,000 in his Roth IRA because he did what the agent told him to do back then. Even though he was young and he never increased it. He did a small Roth IRA. But now his children were grown. Now, the funny thing was his child rider was only $2,000, so that was outdated. But his last kid was almost grown. He was 21. So did they need life insurance anymore? No, so if you don't believe in the system, you're wrong. It works. Now, They hadn't shared any of this with their 5 grown children. So I sit down with Amanda and Stacy and write a very big life insurance policy. And I want you to know, 11 months later, Stacy Alexander left for work. He didn't make it to work. People from Pepsi 2 hours later call Amanda, where's Stacy? She says he left on time. She gets in her car. They get in a car and drive his route. And they find Stacy off the side of the road dead. Now, that's 11 months. And I'm telling you right now, there's not another company out there that wouldn't have wiggled out of paying. They're going to find an exclusion. They're going to find some kind of BS and not pay. We pay. Go ahead. Great job, guys. Our goal is to grow, and that's how you do it. So now, when I'm in the funeral, you know how there's a line, everybody's saying hi to the folks? So there's that line, and I'm going through it, and as I get done, very uncomfortable position for me. Walking through, and I'm almost done, and a man that I did not know, to my knowledge, because I didn't remember, grabs me just like that, face to face, does his eyes off my eyes, and I'm going, oh crap, what did I do now? Because that's me. Y'all all know that. And he said, you're the Primerica lady, aren't you? And tears started pouring out. And I said, yes, sir. He grabbed me with such force, guys, and just held me. And he said to me, I'm her dad. And I didn't tell her. I didn't help her. And if you hadn't, I'd have the biggest burden in the world right now. I'd be trying to figure out how to support my daughter and grandchildren. And because of you, I don't have to. Now I'm telling you something, people. When you deliver a big check to a widow, you are a Christian. What does the Bible say? Protect the orphans and the widows. How can we do that today? Life insurance. So when you talk to somebody, do not act like they're doing your butt a favor. Because you are doing theirs. The only thing Amanda has ever said to me was, why didn't you make me buy more? I could have afforded more than $80 a month. You got to know what you know. So I'm going to reiterate that. What happens when you get the results on a premium? I got one more I want to share before I teach you something. Because I thought that it'd be a really long time before I'd pay death claims. Stacy was 27 years old and 11 months into a new policy. Don't think they got forever. Don't let them give you that crap. My next one, and if you recruit somebody, don't you feel guilty about their personal policy. Don't you let them wiggle out because they just did an IBA. Don't do it. You're not helping them. You tell them, 4-point game plan, next step is buy your policy. Because you work here, you better be protected here. Because I'm not going to be embarrassed if something happens to you or your family and they're going to say, well, you was a Primerica agent. No. So I recruited a wonderful young lady. Well, she's middle age. Her name is Jamie. And immediately we connected. You know how sometimes that happens. You form a relationship. That's the neat thing about Primerica. We are all a family. In fact, my back's hurting, so I started to ask y'all, could I take off my shoes when I came up here? But I mean, and that's okay because we're family, right? Well, I thought somebody new might think that lady's crazy. And those of you who know me know I am. But anyway, so I sat down with Jamie. Now, mind you, she went district. Okay, she went fast, she went hard, but life throws curveballs. Remember that, guys. Be okay with that. So her husband got disabled. He hurt his back at work. He couldn't work. They had just bought a new house. She worked for UPS. She had to pick up more hours. Well, she needed the definite at that moment in her life. It happens. She didn't want to lose her house. So she quit working with me. But during that month, I taught her, and you better be teaching your people. The most important bill you pay next to rent is what? Try again. The most important bill you pay next to rent is what? Because if you're not paying that and your butt is broke, imagine how broke you're going to be if you lose an income. I don't play with them, guys. And anybody around me, Judy, my people can tell you, I don't play. They buy in their policy. So, taught her how important it was. So her premium was $56 a month, guys. There were times that $56 was virtually impossible to her to pay, but she paid it because I had drilled it home. And I'm not bragging, I'm just mean. That's what you pay. So, and we stayed friends, so she couldn't let it lapse because I tell them up front, now let me tell you something. You let this drop, I'm going to call you and I'm going to say, do you not love your kids anymore? Because you told me you loved your kids. And they're scared I'll really call. So anyway, I've never had to do that. But anyway, I tell them I will because you just told me you love your kids and you want to protect them. So anyway, so Jamie held on to her policy. Well, Jamie held on to her policy. Anybody watch the news year ago this year over in Watkinsville and Athens? It was all over 2, 5, and 11. 5 days we were searching for bodies. Well, I want you to know the kid that jumped in to save the other kid's life just turned 18 the month before, and it was Jamie's son. We spent 5 days in this god-awful heat, upset, miserable, on not a rescue mission, on a recovery mission. Recovery after the first 24 hours. So now there was another mom of an 18-year-old. She had 5 children. She worked at the Golden Pantry. 0 life insurance. Now, let's talk as parents about the different battles there. One mom lost their son, has life insurance. One mom lost their child, no life insurance. How bad do you think that battle was for the mom with no life insurance? So, guys, Jamie quit. Not because she wanted to, because she had to. But her purpose in coming to Primerica, she needed a life insurance policy and she needed to be taught. They may quit on you, but there was a purpose for them coming. Whether it's they brought you somebody or they got their protection, they came for a reason. They don't quit because of you or Primerica not working. They quit because they're quitters. Okay? So the good side of that story, Jamie's my hero. She scheduled her test today. She's back. And she is going to make sure that no other parent goes through that loss unprotected. So I dare somebody to look at her and say, I can't afford it. It won't be pretty. Okay. So now you've seen my emotion. I'm telling y'all, when you pay a death claim, and we pay them fast and we pay them good, when you pay a death claim, it will change your reason for being. But now, the ones of us that are here to make money need to understand, how do we make that money? All right, what's our motto? Come on, what's our mission statement? Properly protected is number 1. What did we start our business for? To fix a wrong in the industry. Art Williams said, I'm fixing this crap. They hurt my mama and my family, and I'm going to fix that industry. You better get pissed off about it. I was pissed off because Snake Farm ripped me and Tim off. I don't lose money very easily. Okay. He worked hard for it. So I needed to protect it. All right. So now, if you're here to make money, you're sitting down with a client, you have to ask open-ended questions where they have to agree with you. Because I'm telling you, I don't ask them, are you ready? I've already gotten the answer. So you're sitting down, you're at the wheel, talking about life insurance while we started. Let me ask you a quick question. This is what I say to them. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you have life insurance? Are you one of the 8 out of 10 Americans that don't have a policy, or do you have one? They're going to give you one of 3 answers. Yes, no, or I have it at work. Right? Pretty much. They're going to think that makes them protected, or no, they don't have it. Those are the answers you're going to get. So you need to know what to say to all 3 of those answers. Like, quick. You better know your part, because then they know your sincerity. They feel your passion, and they know you're doing it for them, not a commission. So I will say, okay, speaking while we're on life insurance, Shay, do you happen to have a life insurance policy? Okay, Shay. Well, I understand, but because of what I do and because of my knowledge, I've come to find out that there's usually only one of 2 reasons good families like yours don't have life insurance. Number 1, they didn't know where to go or who to trust and don't understand the product. Or number 2, they thought they couldn't afford it. Which one's you?
I don't think I could afford it.
Okay, so Shay, if I can show you a policy that you can afford that properly protects your family, is there any reason why you wouldn't get started today? No. Good. We'll take care of that in a minute. You get them to say yes right then and there, and the minute I'm done, that lead pad's coming out. I'm writing the policy. Don't get me wrong, I'm a recruiter, but I'm getting that policy done. And before I hit submit, I turn around and say, now, Shay, do you have any curiosity? Because, you didn't act interested in doing what I do. I think you told me you're not a salesperson. Didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you see Judy sell anything? Are you a little bit curious about how much money's changing hands here? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, but when I tell you, you got to agree something. Okay. If you're impressed and you want to make the same kind of money, you're going to invest in yourself tonight. Can we have a deal? Yeah. Okay. So you saw how hard Judy worked, right? She is brand new with me. She's the bottom of the totem pole. And she's going to make $250. Can you do what she did? Can you introduce me to people? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. So would you like me to turn? I'll make $200 too. Not on yours, but the next one you will, and you can make more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of this, and I'm going to do your IBA first. So you will have completed your first training sale. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Guys, get them where you want them and snap that neck. You got to do it. Done. Home run, right? All right, now. Yeah, you're saving them. You got to understand you are helping them. They are not helping you. They don't know. Trust me. If I didn't know, if you didn't know, nobody you know knows. You came here for a reason, and you're not stupid, right? So if you are impressed and you saw a reason, if you get your trainer in front of somebody, they'll make them see the reason too. So the next answer is, yeah, I'm good. I got that at work. You can use my story if you want to. Yeah, I knew a guy that had it at work. Did you know it took 8 months for Pepsi to pay $30,000? Everybody's heard the Buddy Christian story, the cop in Clark County. 18 months to get $30,000 out of Clark County. And I talked to the woman. Ladies, talk to the women. Gentlemen, might make it, but the woman runs it. So I'm going to look at her. I say, Miss Evelyn, you know, I just want to help you understand this, okay? If your husband has 30,000 at work and he doesn't come home tomorrow, now I've had that happen. It took that wife 8 months to get that 30,000. So I want you to understand, if you got it tomorrow, 20,000's the funeral, and you're left with 10,000 to live on. How long can you live off 10? You don't get it for 8 months. Can you play that movie in your head for me? Where are you and your children going to be? Okay, does that sound good to you? Is that where you want to be? Okay, so we need to talk about making sure your husband's properly protected, right? That gentleman's screwed. Even if he lets me leave that night, she's calling me back. She don't like that movie. And guess what? He's in trouble if she don't like that movie. He ain't like a life. He ain't getting fed and he ain't getting nothing else. Till she gets what she wants, right? So get them. You got to understand the facts. If it's with work, takes forever to pay. They don't get to keep it. It don't go with them. You got to know your facts. But now, it got whole life. Guys, you got to know how to destroy whole life. If your upline hasn't taught you how to destroy whole life yet, sit down with them and let them teach you. So if you can't see, this is a big deal because this is what we're here to destroy. This is what I had. This is what 80% of the market, if they have something, they have this. And it's junk. Okay? But they think they've got a savings account. They think it's a retirement account. They think they can get money out when they need it. They don't understand the rules. So I don't care what they are. The first thing I'm going to do, if I find out they got a whole life policy, I'm going to look at their feet. So I like your shoes, Gigi. Where'd you get those? Okay, so she went boutique shopping. So they high. So did you buy them both for one price, or did you have to pay for them separately? Okay, so if you pay for two things, you're expecting two things, right? Now, if you got home and they want one of them shoes in the bag for that expensive price, are you going to be smiling like you're smiling now? No. You're going to march your butt right back up to that store and you're going to tell them, one of these is missing. Now, that poor boutique owner, because I've been there. When they tell you that's how it works here, you pay for two, but you only get one. Are you ever going back to that store? So if I can show you how a company told you bought two things and only got one, are you ever going to do business with them again? Done. Right there. Because what do they do if you don't get them to make the realization, oh, well, let me check into it. Let me call them. Let me ask questions. No, you already told me. If I can show you in proof, you bought two, but your butt only gets one. So here's how it goes. I teach everybody when I'm sitting down with them. Bank A versus Bank B. Now, you got to get good at the toaster question. People don't understand what life insurance really is. They think that it's a death benefit. It is not. What is insurance? Income replacement. So I'll look at a husband then and I'll say, now, you only make $15,000 a year? You only make $30,000 a year? You think you can be all your life income can be replaced for $15,000 or $30,000? Can that happen? Are you that poor? They don't like that. But I'm gonna tell them. You got to understand. I'm not being mean. I'm teaching you. Life insurance is income replacement. So you got a toaster. What's your name? You got your wife, and I don't know if y'all are married, but you got your wife, you got two kids, you got a toaster over there in the kitchen, and it pops up $3,000 a month, would you not gladly pay $100 a month to make sure that toaster always worked? I hate to break it to you, but you're a toaster. Right? You pop up $3,000 a month. Don't you make at least $3,000 a month? Now, if I'm sitting in somebody that thinks lower income, I'm gonna say $2,000. But you can kind of judge, okay? And you say what you in the ballpark. I mean, you kind of know. Well, he's already agreed to me that he's worth it. I'm gonna say, you got your cell phone? Now, do you usually have a phone? No. Why'd you do it? Ding, ding, ding. So you've got to understand people's mentality is that of a boss. Tell them what to do. So Shane, I'm going to show you that you can properly protect your family for $100 or less. You insure that phone, you insure that car. Don't you think Sarah's worth $100 a month to make sure her and your children are always safe? I think so too. I already got their permission. I ain't going back. I'm done. So when I show you that you can do that, you need to go tonight, right? All right. So before we get started, I'm going to teach you a little bit about life insurance because you think you have whole life. We've already talked about the two shoes. So Bank A, Bank B, he's agreed he'd pay me $100 a month. So I'm going to write 100. Now I'm going to say these banks, they have rules. So now remember the agreement we made, Gigi. If I can show you how you paid for 2 and only get 1, you will fix it tonight, right? We have a deal. And I say that to them. It keeps them interactive. It's a teaching skill. They want to be involved. They want to think they made the decision. Kind of like our husbands. We make them think they made the decision. They're happy. Right? I mean, that's the king control there. Okay. So, yeah, it works. Trust me. So now you got Bank A, Bank B, and I got to hurry because I'm running out of time. So Bank A, Bank B. Now they tell you that if you do this today only, we'll throw in $100,000 life insurance policy. Now, guys, is that bank really giving you that? Or are you paying for it? You're always paying for it. So let me show you how it breaks down on both banks. You got 20 and you got 80. All right. Now, until this point, these columns are exactly the same. Now, this is where the banks are going to get different. So you're putting $20 a month towards the cost of the life insurance, $80 a month into a savings account. Now with Bank A, you say, all right, I'll do this forever. What does forever mean? Until you die. So your forever is until you die. If you die and you've paid that $20, your family's going to get $100,000. Okay, you can live with that, right? But let's talk about the $80, the savings account. Now, number one, I'm going to make you really happy with this rule. I see y'all smiling already. All right, so you're putting $80 a month in, right? But if you want to take money out, you pay 6 to 8% interest on your own money. So, Gigi, girlfriend, you got money in a savings account. It's your money. You walk in to withdraw it, and they say, let me get your loan papers. What are you going to tell them? Yeah, it ain't going to be pretty, is it? All right, so you bought 2. We showing you. Now, do you know what? It gets even better. So number 2, if you die, Gigi, and you got a whole lot of money in a savings account, where do you think that money should go? To your beneficiary. Absolutely, that's right. But you know what? Over here, the bank keeps it. And it is perfectly legal for them to keep it because you signed the agreement to this policy, this bank account when you signed up. But now, gee, let's talk. You're paying for coverage and you're paying for a savings account. Now, this is really a tricky question. If I'm dealing with somebody smart, I'll ask them, Gigi, what do you get out of this policy? Yeah, you, just you. Loan papers if you want them. But you paid for a savings account. Your money going in there, but you're going to sign loan papers to get your money out. And then if you die, the bank's keeping your family's money. I'm going to eat them alive. Y'all know what return of premium is, right? A way for insurance companies to get rich. They are taking that money, investing it, giving them back only that rider amount and keeping all that profit. Well, I'll tell them real quick, if you want that with me, I'll do it too. But I'm going to give you all of it because you can put $25 in a Roth IRA and get all your premiums back plus the interest. Know your policies, people. Now, let's talk about Bank B. And we got the same thing going on over here. We got 20 verse 80. But here's the rules. Thank you. She let me know my time's up. Anybody want me to stop? Okay, let me finish then. I'm just making sure. Okay, so I'll go fast. So we got 20 verse 80. Over here, y'all, I had one client say, I ain't even going to agree to get married. I ain't staying with one man forever. Ain't no way I'm doing a life insurance forever. I was like, okay, we agree. But anyway, you're going to agree to pay for this policy for 20 years. Now, it might be adjustable depending on your needs, but for example's sake, we're going to show you 20. Okay? So at the end of 20 years, if something happened to you during that period and that period only, your family is going to get $100,000. But let's talk about your savings over here. Number 1, if you want money, it's yours. Now, don't we think that's the way it should be? I mean, we talked about Gigi, right? I mean, involve them. We talked about this, Gigi, right? If you pay for 2, you want 2, right? Okay. Now, you'll agree over here you're paying for 2 and only getting 1. I ain't told them yet what we're showing them. But over here, if you want money, it's yours. Number 2, if you die, Gigi, what did you tell me should happen to your money if you die? Okay, so over here, if you die, your beneficiary gets it. So now we like these rules better already, don't we? But let's talk about the confusing part. There is a confusing part. So I wanted you to understand why people were able to trick you. It wasn't that you weren't smart, and I'm proud of you for having a policy, Gigi. It was just that somebody didn't teach you how to read them, and somebody was dishonest with you, okay? So remember one thing. Numbers don't lie, but people do. Okay? So over here, if you got hit by a truck 2 months into your policy, how much money is your family going to get? Who said it? Plus the savings. So it might not only be but $160, but do you agree that that $160 belongs to your family? I do too. All right, now, 19 years into this policy, you get hit by a truck and you're gone. How much money does your family get now? 100,000 plus 19 years of $80. I mean, they're looking at about $350,000 here. So, Gigi, let's do the math on that. 19 years you die, your family gets how much money? 450,000. Sorry, my writing is terrible going down. Now, here's where it gets real confusing. So I want you guys to pay attention to my question, and I want you to think hard, okay? So now, if you live for 21 years, something happens to you, what does your family get? Okay, now I want you to understand, you agree, because some people will tell you the 100. No, I want you to understand, you only agreed to pay for this for 20 years. So you're not getting that 100. Your family doesn't get that. But now we talked about the rules to the savings. If you die, your family gets it. So 450, 2 more years. So let's just be lowballing it and say your family gets $500,000. Okay? Now I'm going to take this one step further. Gigi, if 30 years into this policy, you are alive, what do you have? One hell of a retirement account, because you got $500,000 plus 10 more years of paying. I tell them I ain't good at math, but your butt's happy. So here's what happened to you, Gigi. Again, reiterate, I'm proud of you for having a policy and protecting your family, because you got to understand the rules. 8 out of 10 don't have one. So you're part of the elite. But then I will tell you again my story. I was just like you, and I'm educated. I got ripped off just like this. So we had an agreement, right? If I can show you. So I'm going to write you a quote, and I'm going to give you an example of your life insurance and a retirement account and a projected ending. And I'm going to show you where you'll end up. And then we're going to do business, right? So let's do it. Done. Close them out. Don't accept any answer other than hand me the account numbers. Because I'm telling you, the minute I'm done with her, I'm pulling out my big old iPad that people laugh at me for. And I'm doing it. I'm not a salesperson. Sometimes my numbers look like I'm a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson, but I have been through it, and I ain't leaving without a policy if they need it. I'm going to try to recruit them on the back end if that's what they tell me. Recruit first. Always recruit first. Because with the recruit, you get their personal. But if they tell you they're not interested in being a recruit, and they flat out tell you, I'm no good at sales, I'm no good at this. Okay, listen to them. It's their turn to talk. Turn it around on them on the back end. Now, aren't you just a little bit curious, Shay? Don't you just want to know just kind of what changed hands here tonight? And you might get a Mary Hayes that says, hey, buddy, you ain't coming with me. I ain't splitting. Right? You don't know what their motivation is. But everybody's broke, so they need our income. And everybody is broke, so they need our life insurance. You can't let them. And the last thing I was going to tell you with what Amanda said to me was a very good learning curve. Because when I did the first quote, and I didn't know it was going to happen so fast, but I did it on a 35-year, which according to the fact that they hadn't bought a house and they had a newborn and they were young, I should have done. But the answer was a little bit higher than I thought they could afford. So I moved it down. Well, it worked in that situation. But guys, when you show them your Cadillac plan, what they need, you do not give an opinion. You do not have an expression. So, Miss Shay, for your family to be completely covered properly, your husband will have $1 million, you'll have $500,000, all your kids, and never do a child rider less than $20,000. Never do it. If they're going to pay, they can spend the other $3 a month and get their kids protected. When I did Cameron's funeral, it was 18,000 walking out the door, and he was a country boy, and we didn't do nothing special. Do not cheat. Don't let them slide on that. I mean, if you're paying, please understand what a funeral costs. Get them properly protected. But so then your family's, and the payment's $120 a month. How do you feel about that? Is that good for you? Sounds good to me. Okay, but now Shay, I also want you to know you're the client. So now if you do have a problem with that, please be real with me because we can do adjustments. My job is to teach you your proper protection. Let her agree to it first, but you don't want to put the pressure on them to buy something they can't afford and then get a chargeback. That don't work either. But you want them to agree that's what they need and realize it's a sacrifice. But then give them the room to say to you, I really need it to be 100. I really need it to be 75. Okay, fine. We'll back up a little bit. So Shay, in that range, I can get your husband $500,000, you 250, and your kids 20,000. Okay, perfect. Right? You got to know yours part, get it down. You need help, ask. Who's after me? Belda! Sorry. I got it.
Hey, give it up for Terry. That was amazing. So I'm just gonna wrap it up, guys. This Thursday, I got the opportunity to go with Shays and Wes's upline. It was an amazing opportunity. You know how everybody talks about if you hang out with 4 broke people, you'll be the. How about if you hang out with 4 wealthy people, you'll be. Shoo, I'm hanging out with Andrea Burks, right? And so, how much money is she? You know, what's her range that she's making yearly?
She makes
$700,000. Okay, so she picks me up at the airport. She has a Range Rover, of course. And so before she bought that Range Rover, she calls Andy because she listens to everything Andy says. How amazing is that? Okay, so she's being coached by Andy, and so she asks, "Hey, coach, I really want a Range Rover." And he's like, "Okay, perfect. Can you afford 2?" Yeah, I could afford 2. Well, that's the only way you're able to buy a Range Rover. So she goes off and she buys her dad a white Range Rover. How awesome is that? And she bought herself a blue Range Rover. So they both have Range Rovers. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I was like, man, way to sell the dream. So then after she picks me up, we go to Houston's. We had dinner, and then she takes me to her beautiful home. And I swear, one of the things that Angel said that, he had a someone he knew that lived at the Sugarloaf Country Club. And he's like, Mom, he was a little kid. You know when people are rich, Mom, when their doors are like super high. Well, I swear her doors are as tall as these windows, right, Shay? I mean, and not just the front door, guys. These are all the rooms. That's how high they are. And so it was just amazing. She gave me a tour of her home. Her family was there. And her closet. Oh my gosh. I was like, this is the best part of the house. And she was like, let me show you my Louis Vuitton. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Okay. She was like, let me show you the shoes and the dress. And she was like, and I already got my $1 million dress. How awesome is that? So do we have our $1 million dress already? She's like, I already bought it. Look. And I was like, oh my God, that's fabulous. So she's rushing to the $1 million so she could wear that dress. After that, she has a huge backyard with a nice pool. I mean, windows all in the back, so you could see everything. She takes me to the guest room. She has a 5-bedroom, 8-bathroom. Isn't that amazing? So there's no complaining that, hey, hurry up. And so after that, then in the morning, what I liked about it is that in the morning, we had this big event. And it started at, 9 o'clock? 9 o'clock. But guess what, guys? She didn't have to do anything because her team stood up and said, Coach, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And I was just blown away because, in some teams, you're having to do everything. But her team is like, what do you need, coach? What do you need? What can I help you with? Can I take this? Can I take that? And just the environment, Shay, man, that's contagious. I mean, you could tell. What did we do when we did this?
Surfing. Surf. Yeah.
Yeah, there's what is it called? A swag? Yeah, surf and swag. So we're all hugging each other and we're going like this. Man, some people in here, I don't know, you might not want to be close to that person, but that's unity. See, it starts with unity. We're all living this is like a team effort. So that team, I felt the love. And I got to speak. So I was privileged because, man, what an honor to go with the strongest team in North Carolina. They bring in busloads of people. Okay. No, we're talking about other things. But busloads of people. Hey, I want to be around her. I want to pick her brain. And I mean, I definitely did that. So I came back with a lot of nuggets to be able to share. But just how humble she is. She's an amazing, amazing, amazing person. And we laughed, and I love laughing. So we laughed. And right next to her neighborhood, there's another neighborhood being built. And we went to go see her house she's going to buy next year. It's 1.4 plus. We walk in there, and I mean, I'm blown away. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I was going to move to Santa Monica. I might just move over here. And she was like, Belda, you need to move over here because we're going to travel the world together. Might as well live together right next to each other because that'll be easier just to go get up and leave. I mean, way to sell the vision. I was like, you're right. What the hell? What am I doing in Georgia? I need to move over here. So now I'm really thinking about moving over there because with this business, you could build anywhere. You could pack up your stuff and just go. What other business allows you to do that, guys? So I might be moving to Florida, but I could have both, right? But tonight, I have a special guest in here, and I want you guys to give it up for my why, the person that makes me cry, the person that I fight every single day for to make sure that her life is a lot better than, my past. Because I went to church on Sunday, and who goes to Victory? Anybody? Victory World Church? Okay, so that's my church, and they were talking about how slaves would pray not for them because some of them knew that they would not ever be free, but they would pray to make sure their generations to come were free. Think about it. What does Primerica do? Wow. And I was like, God, I know you're talking to me. And so that's who I'm fighting for every single day. That's why I fight every single day. And I wake up in the morning and I'm ready, pumped up. And when I call her, she's like, go get him, mommy. And so I want you guys to give Natalie, a warm welcome. I mean, she's 11 years old. She doesn't understand because she still needs her mommy. And some nights, it's 10, 11 o'clock and her mommy's still working. She's like, Mommy, when are you coming home? My head hurts, this or that. And I tell her, okay, baby, I'm coming home. But, I just want to make sure that I'm able to spend as much time with her as possible. That's what I'm fighting the war right now. Because it's only 3 years, baby. It's only 3 years. And we're going to Paris because she dreams about going to Paris. That's why I said I'm going to Paris. And I will take you to Paris, baby. Not just once, multiple times. And so with that being said, thank you guys so much. Just keep that vision alive. It's possible. Everything. If Andrea did it, that means we all could do it. And we just have to keep pushing, even when it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Keep pushing because God works in mysterious ways, guys. Love you guys. Bye-bye.